Welcome, everyone. You are about to embark on a journey through the universe as you indulge in this extraordinary essence of enlightened, empowered, evolved. Let the show begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Luke Bryan Smith, and welcome to Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved, where we educate, motivate, and liberate you through enlightening dialogues, empowering music, and evolving content. I'm excited yet again, and you know why. Because I have another extraordinary guest, and it's just amazing. My next guest is an ex-clinical psychologist who is now a fulfillment teacher and a meditation guide, a coach, and a whole lot more. Without further ado, I introduce to you Meghan Rokel. How are you doing today, Meghan?
I'm well. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fabulous, amazing, and I thoroughly enjoy this podcast and the people that I meet and just highlighting, extraordinary, amazing, positive people. So it's amazing. And
Well,
before we get started, oh, go ahead. Sorry about that.
I was just going to say it's the best. There's nothing better than meeting like-hearted people.
Exactly. And before I proceed any further, I would just like to say that I'm a firm believer of that time is one of our most precious assets. And for you to choose to spend some of your time here in the history of your timeline on Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved, I just want to extend again my sincerest gratitude to you.
Thank you. Thanks for spending time with me.
Yes, yes, yes. So before we even get started, you said you're in the woods. Is that where you live?
It's where I live temporarily.
Okay.
I'm currently in the process of selling a home and my ex-partner buying me out of a home. And
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm currently in the Santa Cruz Mountains in our
Oh,
first
wow.
property, and I'm
Wow.
kind of readying it for sale and helping run out open houses and things like that. So it's right in the middle of the redwoods. It's just amazing. But we used to have like a property manager here, and now it's just me and my dog and a friend visiting. And so I'm hauling
Wow.
propane and making sure the Wi-Fi is up and picking up debris after storms and feeling very much like my I have like 600 years of farmers on both sides of my family. So
Oh,
that
wow.
sort of hardy stock is in my DNA is coming out to play as I'm
Wow.
here
Wow.
alone. Yeah.
Yes, I had a friend years ago that used to live up there, at Boulder Creek.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Hmm.
Yep.
Yes. His family, his mother and father had a house up there. So we used to go up there and visit and stuff. It was very nice, very in the middle of the trees. It was built out of like redwood, all kinds of windows. Very beautiful.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So I want to hear a little bit more, if you don't mind, even though this is an ex thing you used to do, ex clinical psychologist. How did that go about? Tell us a little bit about that.
Happy to, totally. Yeah, I have this friend visiting and many family members like what? You're letting go of your license? You're letting go of this thing that took years to do, you know? So yeah, I was a clinical psychologist, trained in Chicago. I
Right.
lived in Chicago for 24 years before I moved to California. And I was a professor and I worked in group practice. I worked in community mental health. I had my own private practice. I worked in integrative health with other like functional medicine doctors and homeopaths and things like that. And um, I appreciated what psychology has to offer, but
Right.
I found that it's really quite limited.
Oh,
It's
wow.
limited in who it thinks we are. It
Mm,
thinks that we are basically our minds or our brains
mm.
and sort of the separate self that's somewhere in the brain in there.
Right.
And the focus is on recovery or mental health. But what I've discovered over the years in my own exploration is that healing really goes down in the body.
Mm.
Uh, and it's the body that's actually hurt and injured, certainly by words and anything, of the mind. It's belief systems that were really stored in there.
Right.
Um, so mental health is a misnomer in some ways.
Okay.
We need to, as you use the term enlightened, I will say we have to wake up from the mind, but we actually heal the body. So it's not that we
Wow.
don't, and the mind is just a tool and it's a good servant, but it's a terrible master. But in the field of psychology, we sort of use the mind as a master, and we don't know about awareness. We don't know about the enlightened mind, one could say, the
Right.
the awakened state, which where you're operating from awareness. You're
Right.
not operating from the filters of mind. And so that was one of many limitations. And I'm currently working on this article. I'm calling it an article. I'm calling it "You're Looking for Fulfillment," and it's an article meant to aim at both the practitioners and the recipients of all kinds of different fields: the fields of psychology, the fields of medicine and healing, but also the fields of awakening and meditation. That people might be looking for enlightenment, and they might be awake. They might actually know that they're God, that they're source itself, that there's all oneness, and that's all well and good. And then what? Then there's a whole body here as well.
Yes.
And so in the field, and so I approach all these fields and I say, here's what this field has to offer. Meditation has peace to offer, and that's a beautiful gift. But it isn't the whole picture. It isn't fulfillment. It isn't all the way to fulfillment. And I've kind of redefined what I think fulfillment is. And I think it actually entails knowing your source or oneness itself, but it also entails the full expression of your embodied, unique being, your body,
Mm,
um, and your energy body. And that's the full package of fulfillment. And so each of
right.
these fields, whatever field you're exploring, maybe you completely understand healing. You've healed so much in your body and in your mind, and you're reaching an endpoint. Now what? I want to say you're looking for fulfillment. And so in psychology, they have recovery down. You can recover from anxiety or from trauma,
Right.
and it's a beautiful thing. And they're very focused on like the normal state, like being adaptable.
Right.
And
Right.
that's all well and good, except society's crazy. And so um, to be adapted, what's that quote? It's like to be well adapted in a crazy society is no health at all, something like
Right.
that.
Right.
And so I'm not actually very interested in normal functioning. I'm actually interested in fulfilled functioning and in awakening and in all kinds of things that the field of psychology doesn't really have to offer. So I feel like I just
Mm,
maxed out the profession, and I was doing therapy, but I'm under the medical model, right? I have to use a
right.
diagnosis, and I saw so many people identified with their diagnoses, thinking they would be depressed forever or that they are a traumatized and damaged individual. And
Right.
that's just not true. Everyone
Right.
can heal. Everyone
Right.
can awaken.
Yes.
Everyone can know their God. This is not actually all that fancy.
Right.
And that's just not at all what the field had to offer. So I
That
found, yeah,
that is absolutely amazing. And wow, what I gather from that is that, and I want to commend you and even celebrate you for following, your own intuition and following what, no matter what society says, like you have this paper that, and this field of study and you stay there,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
And it's amazing what you said. And it's not like you were putting that field down, but basically it wasn't
Oh,
fulfilling you anymore. It was a lot of boundaries, and you want to venture out more into, in my perspective, metaphysical and spiritual, and just more. That
yes,
the more, and we are a lot more, and that
a
does
lot.
put us under a certain umbrella in that field. And that's amazing how you are just breaking out and transcending, and still it seems like you embrace, you know certain parts of
Absolutely.
who you all were in your fields of study, but you're taking it further, and that's just amazing.
That's exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
You got it. It's that there's just more to discover, and all these fields. We have, especially in American culture, everything is so I like to call it
Right.
siloed, and
Right.
specialized,
Right.
and we don't have these conversations, and we don't cross pollinate in what the monks have discovered over the last 1,000 years,
Right.
and but we are starting to, right? The neuroscience
Yes.
are
Yes.
work, and so it's like, let's collaborate, let's get together, and let's stop siloing these things. And so to me, it's we all want as much as we can get. We all are actually looking for fulfillment.
Right.
And we just don't know that. So, and we all can actually get there. We can fully realize so much that's here that we've missed if we only focus in this direction.
That's absolutely amazing, Megan, and I resonate with that. Yes, we are starting to embrace, like you said, the monks, the gurus, the yeah, the Tibetan, just I don't want to, I can't name it all, but
Yeah.
just things that we think are hidden, but
Yeah.
it's just been forgotten
Yeah.
and in place with in my perspective, this is not your words, but in place of like indoctrination and capitalism and just things like that. I don't want to get too deep in that, but yes, yes, I see it coming back to this. And thus, this is what this podcast, you know,
Yeah.
has manifested, and
Yeah.
that's what I am highlighting
Yeah.
is exactly along these lines, you
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Exciting
don't,
time.
yeah, I don't, it's not restricted. So I can talk to, traditional doctors as well because I'm into uh my purpose and my intentions are to just highlight and speak with people that their intentions are to elevate us in any way, so that entails a whole lot. That includes a whole lot. But
Absolutely.
especially I resonate with those that, into the consciousness and the metaphysical and the spiritual and the
Yeah.
awakening and the uh, ancient practices that are coming back into, light and
That's right.
that
That's
that nature and, you know, and natural, healing and medicine and just knowing who we really are and how powerful that we are and that we are, and it just makes some people shake, but the ones that know and the ones that are along the lines that doesn't, that we are, God and the universe and all connected. And yes, so
yeah.
yes,
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. I think
right,
the most it's the most liberating of
right,
realizations and you can directly realize it, that you
right,
are God, life, oneness itself.
right,
What good news. What
right,
excellent news.
right,
I remember I really the reason I left clinical psychology is because I mean, in my heart, and it sounds like you're the same, in my heart since I was a child is like, I just want to know the truth. I want to know I want to know everything I can about what's true.
right,
I remember being like I was raised Catholic somewhat, and I was like raising my hand with the priest, like, what's with this guy? Like, I just want to
right,
know what Jesus knew. Like,
right,
what's the big deal? Like, what's the ultimate truth?
right,
And then that's such a liberation that eases your whole being to
right,
know you don't actually die. You're actually oneness. What's
right,
coming out of your eyes is immortal. It's verifiable.
right.
You're as special as anyone else. There's no hierarchy here. That's all
Nope.
bull, you
And
know.
we are part of the universe being conscious of itself in different unique ways, in different expressions. And yes, and just like you, I grew up in a very religious family and had a lot of questions and was shunned and shushed
Yes.
oftentimes and told I was being disrespectful for asking questions. But that's our natural state to be inquisitive and curious and to learn and to create and to find information and not only just information, but what resonates with ourselves and become connected with our spiritual being and align with those
Yes.
things that resonate with it. And I'm not putting down any religious practices because I respect everyone's beliefs and whatnot, but I'm saying for me, I believe that in my trajectory, in my journey, I found it to be the same religious practices or the religion I was under, which was Christianity, a bit restricting in a box, just like you feel about traditional, psychology. And yes, so the same
Got
thing.
it. Exactly. It's no box. No, no.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. But okay, so let's move forward. How did you become? Well, you kind of gave us a little bit, of how this evolved into this, but give us a little bit more insight on how you became now known as a fulfillment teacher. Give us a little uh, um, meaning of that to you from your perspective, a fulfillment teacher, and yeah, and how that
Sure.
the framework around that.
Sounds good. Um, So while I was in school and then teaching and in psychology, like I said, I was always interested in ultimate truths. So I was the one reading philosophical texts or
Right,
studying Gandhi or like all these
right,
interesting kind of way outside the field of psychology. And then I found what some call non-dual teachers, right? Oneness teachers. So teachers like Muji, he's in
Muji.
yeah,
I
Muji.
love listening to Muji. Even now,
Oh,
I love
me
listening.
too.
And I'm sorry I
No,
interrupted
no,
you,
no,
but
no, no, no
you
need.
just flicked the
Yeah,
switch. I love
yeah.
listening
We're
to
talking Muji. Yeah,
I love listening to Muji on YouTube and listening to his segments. Oh my gosh, he's just so just amazing. What he resonates with me,
yeah,
or I
exactly.
resonate with him. Yeah.
Totally,
So go
totally.
ahead. I
No,
apologize.
exactly. And it's so exactly that resonance is so he is in a non-dual state at all time,
Right.
and not
Right.
that we all are, we just
Right.
don't know it.
Right.
But he knows it, and he's so well described about it, and he's actually a really good therapist in a sense. Each
Yes.
person in his satsangs that he asks a question, he knows exactly how to unravel their belief systems, and so he's a real master in multiple ways. So
Right.
there were. I mean, I called myself like a YouTube devotee. I think I listened to thousands and thousands of hours of Muji, of Gangaji, of Adyashanti, of Byron Katie, of Eckhart Tolle, of all
Oh,
these.
love Eckhart Tolle.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, exactly.
You
It's
ever heard of Sad Guru as well?
I have,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
Sadhguru. Hmm.
beautiful,
But
exactly.
Yeah, Muji is one of my go-to, I call go-to guys, a go-to spiritual advisor.
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally.
It's like I know him, and then
Yeah,
I just, yeah. Go ahead.
totally. If you met him, you just give him a hug. Yeah, exactly.
Oh yes, I would love to meet him one day. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Very, very, very clear person.
Right.
So exactly. So I saw all these non-dual teachers, and I found Byron Katie. I don't know if you know her, but she's
Yes, I have. Yep.
yep. So she has this process of inquiry,
Right.
which blew my mind because in psychology, right, we're just sort of like recycling thoughts.
Right.
We do cognitive behavioral therapy or analytic therapy, and there's just this kind of reframing or where we become like the positive self-object for
Right.
somebody's projections, like all this sort of thing. And there's actually not a chance to come out of the mind and look
Right.
at it as much. And Byron Katie has all she does is just take awareness and question thoughts. And
Mm,
so it's called inquiry, and that blew my mind. That like opened up my world
right.
to understanding psychology better, understanding what the mind is. It's just thoughts, and they're not even yours, and they're not
Right.
they're conditioned, they're almost like viruses on the planet, these fear
Right.
viruses, and we all are kind of infected. And
Right.
there's not that many of them. Like they all whittle down to I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable, there's something wrong with me, I'm a failure, I'm not safe. These are these core beliefs that everybody has. Like I haven't met a person that doesn't have some kind of unworthiness in their system,
Right.
and
Right.
it's not true. It's picked up in the culture, it's picked up in our families.
Yes.
Um,
It's
and
almost like, and excuse me again, it's almost like, or maybe exactly just like, we are receptors, receivers, transmitters, and we're getting these waves, all these thoughts, all these energies, and that's why, just like
yes,
you said, they're not ours. That's
yeah,
why uh, I've read several times, be an observer of those thoughts. You're not creating them.
yeah,
You observe them,
yeah,
and you can connect. You observe them with no attachment, but you can choose to connect which what what thoughts resonate with you. So
yeah,
that doesn't mean that everything that's going on in your head, that's your truth. You can look at it from a third person and say, I no,
yeah,
or just, yeah, I allow that to just pass by with no resistance, with no struggle. So
yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
exactly. And
amazing.
that's exactly it. And you get to this point of just staying as the awareness of the thoughts. When
Right,
people in a session will say, well, here's all my thoughts. I'm like, but who's the one reporting on the thoughts? That
right,
one, that one is a witness, and that
right,
one's always there. And that one isn't your brain. That's
right,
actually what sees the brain. And that's immortal, actually. And
right,
can you find an edge to it? Can you find an end to it? Can you see that it's loving? Can you see that it's spacious? And so people start to be aware of awareness and put their awareness on awareness instead of on their thoughts. But we have to do an inquiry process. They actually have to wake up. So I did that as a therapist for many years. I did a lot of inquiry, and I would just get people waking up. But I moved over to doing more embodiment work because people would say this to me all the time. They go, well, Meg, I know that my thoughts aren't true, but they still feel true.
Right.
What that means is that they haven't taken that awareness and felt through and seen through it in their body. So their heart was still broken, or their gut was still felt like a big punch from when their mother said something, awful to them when they were a kid,
Right.
and that gut punch is still there. And so they know, well, I know it's just a thought. I know it's not my thought, but I feel sick to my stomach. I feel unworthy,
Mm.
And so I started doing embodiment work with this woman named Judith Blackstone, and then later my most recent teacher, Kieran Trace. And she was somebody who had a massive awakening, but a whole bunch of trauma, and did a lot of work and like went to Adyashanti and was like, well, what do I do with all this awakening? But I have all this healing to do. And he didn't really know how to help her. So she
Mm.
put a nice map together for how to heal using awareness, using source. And so I trained with her, I trained with Judith, and got rolling on a lot of healing in the body. And that was a breakthrough for me too. Again, psychology doesn't cover the body, and spirituality and awakening doesn't cover the body.
Right. Right.
They're just like, well, it's not, you're not your thoughts. Let's just do TM and let's just be aware of awareness for hours on end. Okay, but I still feel like shit, do you know?
Yeah.
And I still,
To put
I
it quite
don't know
frankly,
what I want.
yes.
I'm still not embodied. I still can't taste my ice cream because I'm too in my head, or I'm
Right.
so disembodied, or I'm still like, I know so many people who are awake or are quite spiritual, but
Right.
they're not checked out. They're not actually in the flesh here, and they don't know what they really want, and they don't have a boundary to save their life, and they don't, and so that's why I say fulfillment, and it's the whole package, right? It's full awakening, but it's full embodiment as well, and then full healing. And that's a process. It's quite a process to bring all that awareness in and through the body.
That's amazing. And just listening to you articulate just your thoughts and your perspectives, it inspires me to want to read this paper that you're coming out with, because you are a philosopher, whether you embrace that or not. And I don't want to put titles. You're more than that, but you have a philosophical part to you, and that's amazing. And I love philosophers. Like, one of my favorite philosophers is Ralph Waldo Emerson. He's a really deep thinker, and I've read his a lot of his manuscripts. And
Oh,
yes, yes,
beautiful, beautiful.
amazing.
I've been to, is it Emerson? That's Walden Pond? Or no, that's Thoreau. I've been to
Yeah,
Walden. Yeah, but those two nature lovers who
right.
roam through nature, beautiful, beautiful. So much insight, and there's a lot of presence. Like, they are very awake people.
Very awake and very aware and very in tuned. Yes, when you read his words, you can tell that, yeah, this man was just um, amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
So yes, so that inspired you to become, you know, it seems to me, in my perspective, you've always had this natural, I don't know how to say it, but just wanting to know more, just inquisitive way about yourself, that it just, yes, and that's the way we all should be.
Yeah, yeah.
Just constantly learning, constantly. Okay, what now? Okay, I learned this. Okay, I uncovered this. Okay, let me dig more. Let me do this, and then at the same time apply some of your own perspectives, because most of our perspectives are other people's perspectives, and we just attach and grab hold. If not, from my perspective, I've seen people just grab just a hold of what they've just been told, period. There's
No
no
inquiry.
work on their part to try to dissect that and absorb more and to really figure it out. They just, okay, I'm programmed like this, I got hooked up to this indoctrination, and that's just it.
Yep. And
Like,
they're going to run that program in this lifetime, and that's it.
right, and
I'm
that's
always,
it.
I'm always shocked by that. A lot of my clients, there's a point at which they, they're waking up to the truth of their own being, right? So they're aware that they've been out of alignment in their work, or they've been out of alignment with a relationship. And so
Right.
they're putting a boundary with their relationship with their mother, and they're putting it on their own terms or something. And so there just comes this point where they have to do a kind of assessment of like, what's true for me with this relationship, with this work, with my home, with whatever it is. Everything, really, everything has to be realigned with the truth of your being, because we've all been so conditioned.
Right.
And my clients are working with me because they're willing to do that. They're interested, they're curious, like you said. And I actually think everybody at their base root, like we were when we were kids, is actually naturally curious.
Right.
It never occurred to me. And so I tell my clients all the time, yes, that's there, but in this lifetime, many people, and like your mother or your brother or whatever, they're actually not interested in truth. And it's shocking for those of us interested in truth, or just like always want to keep you. It's like, wait, what? They're not interested.
Let me elaborate just a bit on that
Yeah,
from
yeah.
what I've learned. And this could be, I'm sure this is other people's words that it's just it's swirling around my head. I don't like to affirm things, but I am getting better at recalling names of people who have quoted and said things. But when you say people aren't interested in truth, that leads me to think people aren't interested in anything that'll shatter their false sense of reality.
Yeah.
Or anything that they've attached themselves to, even if it's wrong. That's their identity. And if there's anything that challenges that, especially that they don't understand, or they're not willing to put in the work to understand, or the openness to embrace something different, then no, they don't want to hear the truth. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, exactly. It's just shocking, but it's also okay. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
it's okay. Right.
it's fine. It's like, but we've got different values then.
Right.
And I gotta move on. Yeah. Yeah.
I will say no more. You said it perfectly right there. I have to move on. I have
I
to
gotta move on.
vibrate on.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
Yeah.
okay with
Yeah.
this? No, uh, no criticism or
Nope.
compliment about it. No, either way, okay, that works for you. Fine, but it's not on my frequency. So,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Exactly. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you will. It'll be like oil and water.
Precisely.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes,
Exactly.
yes, that's
And it's
amazing.
it's all very innocent. Like, it's just out of fear, right? People are
Right,
afraid. They're sure. I mean, I've run into every fear in my work in 25 years that I've been doing this. That that if they haven't looked at the fear that's blocking them. That's saying it's not safe. Everything will fall apart. I'll go crazy. I'll be banished from society if I divorce my wife. If I admit I don't love my
right,
I don't want to be in this business anymore, whatever it is.
right,
Like, and so that fear just blocks the truth, and then it's sort of like life is just going to have to knock them around a little bit more
right,
to
right.
cultivate that willingness to look for truth, or maybe not. Maybe it's just not this lifetime. And
No, you're right. Because when, like you said, oftentimes life, like the way you put it, knock you around. Either you're going to wake up, or you're just going to fall back deeper into what your false sense of comfort zone. And
yeah,
I am thankful that I've been one of the ones that, um, as life has knocked me around, especially when I got to a point where I felt it was a bit unbearable, that it actually shook me and woke me up to start, really looking within and really just learning, about who I really am, and my connectedness, and the amazing, powers that we, have, and things like that. So you're right. Either when life knocks you around, you go through something, you're either going to wake up, or you're going to sink deeper further into nothingness, or into
yeah,
just program. Oh,
yeah, yeah,
regular, yeah, what you feel is regular, what you feel is safe. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
amazing. So, yes, you say, um, um, working with your clients. So, how do you connect with clients while we're here? Is there a site that you can share with us, that if someone was looking to connect with you and to ask you some questions, or to just, or hire you for your services, or whatever it might be, is how can we do that?
Yeah, my website is just my name. It's megrokel.com or meganrokel.com. And on there is my coaching fees and what I do, and my
Okay.
bio. I also have a meditation project called Simple Being.
Yes,
And
I was going to ask you about that. Yes.
yeah,
Tell us a
yeah,
little bit about that.
that's really fun. That that came from starting to work with my previous teacher and having my own awakening experiences, and especially awakening experiences through the body and healing experiences. And I was working with this young man who was a musician, who's in a metal band in the other part of his life. And he was like, and I was talking about teaching meditation, and he said, I've always wanted to like play music for meditation. And we started what we called at the time in Chicago embodied together, and we would get together and he would play music, improvisational music, and I would do guided meditation in person at a bar in Chicago.
Oh, wow.
And it was lovely, and it built up some steam, and we would just take donations, and it was really fun. And then he started recording them, and we would put out these recordings. And then COVID hit, and we did it all online, and we still did like the third Sunday of the month. But now we had a much bigger audience, and we were on YouTube, and we were on Insight Timer now. And so we've got these monthly community meditations, which we're on a hiatus right now, just as we're transitioning from a couple different things. So I do them now. I just do them without music. So that's all on my website. All the information's there, the Zoom links and all that stuff. But we have 20 plus recordings of Simple Being on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you listen to music. You'll
It's
find
under what title?
Simple Being.
Simple Being. Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to check that out.
We've been around a few years now, and it's the full package kind of meditation. I call it very user-friendly meditation, but they're very user-friendly, very relaxed. You don't have to take a seated position or be in lotus position or on a meditation mat or in any kind of silence. You just do whatever you want to do.
Right.
But they are very deep. So we take you into awareness, and then we take you into the body, and the music really helps to just point out sensation. And then we take you from inside the body out into vast source and into the field of love, into the field of healing that awareness is. But like I said before, right, we know like there's all this around us. We're like swimming in an ocean of good stuff, but nobody ever pointed it out to us. They only pointed out like the conditioned thing that we're supposed to do for school or for whatever else. And they didn't show us that we are a vast ocean of love, of silence, of resource, of support, of steadfastness, of sturdiness. There's so much that it's sort of like everything is available in God and in source, but we never tapped into it. And we ourselves as awareness are that taproot. And so I think in our meditations, we tap you into your body, we tap you into source. And then really interesting things happen. And it's so fun. We do the meditation live. Again, we have all these recordings that are not live, but every third Sunday of the month at 9 a.m. Pacific, we sit, I do about a 45-minute meditation, and then we have a Zoom chat afterward. And that Zoom chat, people will report incredible healing, right? They'll be like, my lower belly just opened up and unraveled, and I had to get on the floor and kind of flop like a fish because there was like something came out of me that was like from long, long ago. And it was part of that is because we're so connected to source, and I take you so far into the body. But there's a field effect that happens with, we used to have like 100 people listening. And that the power of it's almost like, 100 watt bulbs. Right. And that's a lot of light. That's a lot of light on some shadows, And so when you bring that amount of awareness or presence or God or whatever you want to call it into the body like that, it can really move through some old stagnant stuff in the
shine some light on some
light, exactly.
Some deep dark area. Yes, some traumas, whatever you want to call it. Like you said, I get exactly what
that goes for me too, right? I'm guiding the meditation, but really I'm just sort of, it's more like a channeling. It's more like I just listen to what the field feels like doing that day. And it's very focused, but it is all improvisational. And I go through my own, like you'll see me, and if on the YouTube channel with the live streams, you'll see me crying in the middle of the meditation as I lead it and stuff, because the processes are happening through me. So it's a healing field for everyone. So these meditations are very healing. They're very deep. They point out that you are God itself. Herself, himself. And then they have all this resonance in them. And then what we've also noticed is like there's some of those that are everybody's favorite. And then if it's been listened to 1,000 times, you've got a major resonance on that audio. Do you know what I mean? And so you play it for the 1,000th and 1st time, there's a cumulative effect there, I think.
Right, right.
So
Energy
I feel it's
and
like a little bit of a warning label on there. Like,
vibration. Right.
yeah, like
Yes.
you enter at your own risk. You might be blown open,
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. And thank you for, yes, for breaking that. I call it breaking that down like that. That's amazing. And giving us a painting a vivid picture of, you know,
But your listeners are very welcome. So if they go to megreckle.com, the meditation tab will say every third Sunday of the month at 9 a.m. Central. We're on, I just do it on Zoom right now, but we're usually on YouTube.
okay.
And hopefully we'll be back as Simple Being, like my full band will be back, but right now it's just me. But it's really been fun. And then the meetings are very intimate, and you get to dialogue with me and have a Q&A and dialogue with other people who are amazing people from all over the world. Like we had a guy calling in from Nigeria last time, and a guy, like we were all
Right.
over Europe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what it's about. Wow. Connecting. Well, thank you very much. I just want to extend my sincerest gratitude to you again, Megan, and thank you. I had an amazing time uh, listening to you and just engaging with you. Amazing. Thank you, everyone, for listening and or watching. Be sure to hit that like button, whatever platform you're viewing or listening to this on. That like, that subscribe, share it, help the platform grow. Share these messages. Yes, check out Megan Rokel's website, and also
Yep.
check out the Enlightened Empowered Evolved website.
Yes.
That's 333 at 333empower.com. Yeah, and your website again is Megan Rokel. Yeah, that's no, I mean that's MEGHANROEKLE.com. Check that out, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Luke.
Love and appreciation to everyone. See you soon. Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved.